Supershot everyone, back again with another photo video. Today we're at the Amherst County Fair 2025 with Cole Amusements. Yes, we saw them last week at Shenandoah, but now we're seeing them again. So over here is the ticket booth, food stands. So Taste of the Fair is also here with the chicken stand and the slushy stand. The rest of Taste of the Fair stuff is in with Deglo. So good luck to Taste of the Fair, the other half of Deglo. So yeah, they are here until Sunday. By the time you guys see this video, hopefully it'll be uploaded on Sunday. But also, before we get too far, if you guys have not already, make sure you guys do subscribe. And also subscribe to my second channel as well. Supershot. We got the Rockstar, so all three of the AOM rides are here. Supershot, Saturn 16, and Rockstar. We got right across from each other. AOM. But yeah, here we go. There's the Rockstar going. We got the Wisdom Sizzler. Basketball game. So pretty much what you guys saw last week is like the same gear. Going to four swings. But new for 2025, it never has been here before. There's the Himalaya. And of course, you got the KMG Brew. You got New York Fun House. Climb the ladder game over here. Another ticket booth. And then you got the cliffhanger. We got copyrighted music, so we gotta make this Speedy Gonzalez here. And then right beside that is the Scat, which I think it was here back in 2023. I can't remember, but yeah, I need to get a POV of that because I don't really ride the Scat all that much. Last time I rode it was, I can't remember. Break a bottle game, the ring game where you put the rings in the bottle, like on top of the bottle cap or whatever. And then down there is your standard games. And new for 2025 for Amherst, the Expo Wheel. Not the Rainforest Expo Wheel, not the Wonder Wheel, but the Expo Wheel itself. So I don't know when I'm gonna see the Wonder Wheel. We are approaching the final season very, very soon, unfortunately. But I don't know. Zeusville Parade. I don't know when I'll see the Wonder Wheel. So I might not be able to see it. But then again, it might be at the Henry County Fair. That's coming up I think at the end of the month. I can't remember right off. But yeah, inflatables, which looks like they're closing up the inflatables. Oh, maybe it could be too because of the wrestling. Professional wrestling. Too bad it can't be like WWE. That'd be cool. See like famous wrestlers like John Cena and Randy Orton and all that people, all that stuff. Dragon Wagon. And then right beside that is the AOM Saturn 16, aka Vertigo. #1 Vertigo. Yeah, this thing is a beauty at night. It really is. The newer AOM Vertigos are probably like the good. They're good. But yeah, so and then the other stuff, like fair stuff, you got a little concert stage over there. Yeah, but there's Saturn 16. No single riders. But yeah. So, and then over here you got little kids rides over here. But yeah, other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it. So it's kind of, from what I can remember, it's the same ride lineup like it was in 2023. Except I don't remember if the Scat was involved or not. Actually, Valley Amusements isn't with them either, because I know when I was here in 2023, Valley Amusements teamed up with them, and I think to the end of the season they teamed up with them. So yeah, let's end it with Super Shot. And